Hey guys, it's me, Amy. I just wanted to make a video update out of here. I guess this is really, it's not really an update. I guess this is a response to what Nicole Arbor said. That's my phone, just ignore that, it's gonna go off. Now, I'm not gonna title this like a reaction video because it's not really. It's more of a fat facts thing. And someone who just got the gastric sleeve surgery had to do a lot of research in order to know if this was the right choice for her. And I did a lot of research to know that this was the right choice for me because I'm very young and I'm very heavy. Now, I've never really said my weight on camera before, but I am 5'2" and my highest weight was 363. I've lost some weight, of course. I had the surgery, and you drop weight at a very quick pace, very quick. So yeah, I'm down, and I don't really I haven't gotten on a scale lately, so I don't really want to say how much I've lost, cause I'm waiting for bigger numbers, and then one day in a month, I'll be like, I lost this much weight, wow. But anyway, that's not my point. That's not why I made this video. So, also, forgive the fact that I have no makeup on and I look like I just woke up, because I just woke up. So, the original idea was to just bring some facts onto the table, because I've done a lot of research on what exactly was my options for being obese at such a young age. I was always obese. As far as I can remember, as long as I can remember, I was always obese. Everything I tried didn't work. So I'm going to start on the word fat shaming. Fat shaming is a thing. In fact, every kind of shaming is a thing. It's not a card we play. It's actual. If you shame someone for being fat, then that is fat shaming. If you shame someone for being gay, that is gay shaming. If you shame someone for being a stupid comedian, then you're stupid comedian shaming. So every kind of shaming exists. If there's a card that is being played, I don't really know about it. I've never really heard too much of the term fat shaming. I've never used the term fat shaming until now. But when there is a difference when a doctor tells you you're overweight to when someone makes fun of you. It was something that was said in the video that are you going to call it fat shaming when your doctor tells you you have heart disease? First of all, anyone at any age, at any time, at any weight can get heart disease. Depends on how they take care of themselves. Fat is just a visual aspect. I know a lot of fat people who can be healthy. I had absolutely no health problems when I decided to get the sleeve, but I knew that in the future it could happen, so that's why I got the sleeve. Yeah, so as far as I'm concerned, that doesn't really. When a doctor tells you they're overweight, they're initially supposed to tell you that you're unhealthy. That's why you go and see a doctor. I think the only thing that we hate about it is that we already know that we're overweight. I think that's kind of the idea. Oh, thanks, doctor, for telling me something that I didn't know. Well, we did know. And I think that's one of the reasons why we don't like when doctors call us fat, is because we know. And it's kind of like being constantly reminded. But that goes for when anyone calls you fat and makes fun of you, because you already know. And doctors never really made fun of me for my weight. They've mentioned it, of course, out of concern and out of a medical standpoint. But when people who have absolutely no, physician type area in their life calling you fat, and in a very unsensitive way, yeah, I think that's kind of fat shaming. I think you're shaming someone for being fat. That is fat shaming. Like I said, anything, you can throw anything with the word shaming in front of it, or in the back of it, after it. Like video game shaming. It happens. Okay, so, let me move on. Big bones is actually a thing. Not a lot of people know this, but it doesn't really contribute to your weight. It contributes to where exactly you hold your weight and where exactly is bigger on you. So let's say people who have an apple body shape will probably more likely have a bigger rib cage. But I actually looked up photos, and unfortunately I don't have the technology to kind of zoom that in, and big bones is actually a thing. And the way to check for if you're big bones is actually your wrists. If you can wrap your entire fingers around your wrist, this doesn't really work when you have like 100 pounds to lose like me, but if you wrap your fingers around your wrist and they touch, you have small bones. If you're thin and you can't seem to do it, you have bigger bones. So that's a fun thing I found out. Or very long fingers. Another thing is stop eating. At one point, people have said that to me, just why don't you just stop eating? First of all, and I've heard somebody say this on an actual reaction video to what this comedian had to say, anorexia is not cool. It's very damaging to the body, just like being obese. Telling someone to stop eating is probably the worst thing that you can possibly do to anyone at any size. It doesn't work like that. I don't think I need to say that. But, fun fact, and this is actually one of the leading facts that made me get the surgery, is that people with 100% weight to lose, only 5% of that people, out of 100%, only 5% of those people that have 100 pounds to lose will lose their weight and keep it off. That means 95% of people will lose the weight and gain it all back plus, without the help of surgical procedure. It's a real fucking fact. Look it up. I swear to God. It's something that I learned at the bariatrics hospital, where my mom had her surgery and lost a ton of weight and is now healthier and living a better life. Also, exercise, in a way, yeah, it's so healthy for you. I can't stress that enough. People think that being sleeved means that I'm going to drop the weight without needing to exercise. If you really want the best results and quicker results, exercising is actually the way to go. However, it's a little bit more difficult when you have 100 fucking pounds of excess weight on you. Can you imagine just going around dragging 100 pounds behind you and trying to, like, win a race or just walk down the street? And also, people pointing and laughing at you or fat-shaming you, if you will, probably adds a little bit more pressure. So, if you really tell someone to lose weight by diet and exercise, yeah, it's great advice, but it's not that easy, especially if the person is known for having an unhealthy lifestyle, like sitting on the couch. Yeah, it's a little bit harder to get up from that couch when there's 100 fucking pounds to lose. So that's something that I really hate when people say, why don't you just go out and exercise? It's difficult. And people call us lazy, which is also really not the deal. We probably do want to do a lot more things, but it's harder when we have a lot to worry about, like our joints and pains that we might feel, or being too tired, or not being able to keep up, or having people make fun of you. I'm pretty sure that family at that airport that stupid comedian was talking about probably didn't want to be at an airport. They probably had to travel for something very important. And, like, a funeral, probably. And, like, vacation, yeah, I mean, you want to experience most of life. They're not lazy if they're trying to go on vacation and experience the most of life. This person is obviously crippled because, first of all, I have never met someone who was just obese who had a handicap card. That doesn't happen. I'm pretty obese, never had a handicap card. My mom has been obese before she had her surgery, never ever had a handicapped card. If there is a bigger person who has a handicapped card, probably because they have issues with their knees. It does happen. It's very, very common. The first things that normally goes are the knees when it comes to bigger people. And they probably do need to be able to park a little bit closer because their knees aren't working the way that they need to. I knew someone with a bad knee issue who was overweight, and she was so active and so brilliant, but she couldn't do the things that she wanted to do because she wasn't able to get around. Fat people smell like sausages. No. That is another misinterpretation of fat. That we are unhealthy and we don't take care of ourselves. Let me just kind of like put this in perspective again. There are several misleading things about fat people. Fat people are automatically judged as smelly, which is true. I've been called smelly even though I smell fine. Stupid. I don't know why that has anything to do with education. Maybe because it's like we don't know how to take care of ourselves, so we're automatically retarded. And lazy. I don't know if you guys know, like, Tess Munster, or there's this woman I follow on YouTube who's very, very big, but every once in a while she does videos, and she's walking in them, she's exercising, and there's a new woman on TLC, I think, who does a dance thing. So yeah, there are a lot of active fat people. I mean, like, I did a Zumba class, and I'm going to be joining a gym as soon as September ends, and that is a fact. I'm not just saying that, like, maybe. No. I'm joining a gym. Like I said, I had the surgery. Exercise is the main thing that helps. Makes you feel better, and it does. I take walks whenever I feel like shit, and it helps. But yeah, like, that was a number one thing that people really do misinterpret that, is like they're smelly and they're stupid and they're lazy. It's not very true. Not at all. I hate that. I don't know what exactly put that in people's head, but that is something that they do. Yeah. And then at the end of the video she says, I just want to help people and I want to keep you around longer. Shaming has a different effect than what people think. Being mean has a different effect than what it is. When people are made fun of by thinner people who obviously have no idea what it's like to be large, they hide. They stay in their house. They don't want to be seen. So they automatically become couch potatoes again, and then they eat for comfort. Food is comforting. I don't know exactly why. I think it's some of the substances that are used in there, but they comfort people, and people automatically are drawn to food when they're being made fun of. So yeah, that's not really the best way to do it. If you really want to help someone lose weight, do it with them. Like, have a friend come over for dinner and give them a whole bunch of healthy leftovers. And then go to the gym with them every once in a while. You know, I always said, like, when people mention my weight, I'm just like, if you're not going to pay for my gym membership, then don't say anything about my weight. And I still say that. It's the funnest thing to say. Now I'm just waiting for someone to call me fat, so that I can be like, I had gastric sleeve and I'm going to lose weight and you're still going to be an asshole. Like that comedian. I think she was also trying to justify it, which is, you know, I get it. You don't want to look like an asshole, even though you've hurt a bunch of people. You really want people to live longer, and I get that. You want people to be healthy, you want them to live longer, but I have to tell you, the one thing that made me get this surgery was not people calling me fat. I was suggested the surgery at a very young age, and it prolonged it. My mom got the surgery. I saw the results, but if she mentioned me getting the surgery, I felt very uncomfortable. When my mom stopped, and I was watching an episode of My 600-Pound Life, and one of the episodes featured a 26-year-old, and I'm 21. And she needed the surgery because she couldn't get out of bed. That pushed me over the edge. Now, do you see what that was there? It was my decision. It was my decision to do it. Something clicked in me, not because of what other people thought, not because of what other people told me. It was something that I needed to decide for myself, and I did. And I love my choices, especially when I have my antidepressant pills, which I can finally take because my stomach can finally hold it. It just makes it easier to get around and like be proud of everything that I do. Because before surgery, every time I lost weight, I just knew it was just going to come back on, and that this wouldn't be forever. But I can't fuck this up because it's surgery, and I literally haven't eaten anything today, and I'm not even hungry. Which is not good. I need to eat some type of protein. I've been drinking a lot of milk, so yay. But it's like that. It's like I can't screw this up because I have no appetite. I can't screw this up because I can't eat anything right now. Tomorrow I start pureed food. Yeah. I can't screw this up. And sometimes I feel like I have. Or I can, and I will. But I can't. Another fun fact is that fat prejudice is the only acceptable prejudice left on this earth. When the channel of Nicole Arbor was taken down, it was put back up without any consequences and without the removal of the video. Fat acceptance is something that exists because it doesn't exist. Fat prejudice will always be around, and it has very little consequences. Fat prejudice is what girls at the age of 10 worry about, and they start starving themselves or throwing up because fat prejudice is still a thing. It's featured on television. It is featured in magazines. No matter how much weight I lose with this surgery, I will never be someone who looks at a fat person and thinks that they deserve to be treated as less than a person. That will never be me. Because we're all human, and we all have feelings. And we can all see what's wrong with us and what's not wrong with us. We don't need people pointing it out. I think that the worst part about fat prejudice is that it might remain forever. And that hurts. Because we've strived and we've fought wars to end all types of prejudice, but this one's not going to go away. We can do all those little movements and get plus-size models on magazines and on walkways, but we're still promoting one thing, and that's beauty. Who's to say what beauty is? Who's to say that beauty is in looks? I always say there's no such thing as someone who is unattractive. There's a thing of people's types. You can have a type of person. You can be attracted to one type of a person and just not that attracted to someone else. But I don't think there's anything that exists that's ugly, because someone finds them beautiful. The only ugly part is the inside. I do believe that people who are morbidly obese is what I think the woman really wanted to say. Not just obese, because obese can be just a little cushion for the pushing. Obese, morbidly obese, over 100 pounds to lose, is unhealthy. It is. No matter what your health is right now, eventually your body is not going to be able to handle the excess weight. Our bodies are not built for this. But if it's something that you feel like you need to be ashamed of, no. What causes morbid obesity? It's stress. It's life. It's America who fat shames people. I can't believe I'm using this term now. Fat shames people and then sells them Burger King. Yeah. It's the diet industries that don't work. Because if they worked, that means they wouldn't be making money anymore. Yeah, that's also a fact. They will not gain any more profit if what they do works. Do you want to know the average weight loss for someone who does Weight Watchers? 8 pounds. Average is what you will lose. Would you like to know the average weight loss for someone who gets the gastric sleeve? 60% of your excess weight to 80% of your excess weight. I did the math. 363 was my starting point when I got the surgery. It's a little lower now, but my lowest weight, if I lost 60%, I'd be 220 pounds, which is still overweight, but a lot less morbid. And if I lost 80 pounds, my starting weight was 363, I would be, I believe it was 180? Yeah, 180. For an average, that's pretty impressive. 2% of people gain all of their weight back. 2%. Now let's do this again. 22. I mean, not 22. What? Where am I? Okay. 95% of people will, with 100 pounds to lose, will lose their weight and gain it all back plus. That means 5% of people who do not have surgery will lose their weight and keep it off. 2% will lose all of their weight after surgery and put it back on. 2%. 15% will lose all their weight and gain 50 pounds back. 50 pounds. It's not a lot. And who's to say you can't lose it again? When you have a comedian trying to be funny, but also trying to be truthful, just remember that this woman, she's a dancer, she's a comedian, she's obviously had absolutely no weight issues in her past, has no idea what the fuck she's talking about. So when you're angry and pouting because this girl has no idea what she's talking about, just remember that she's not as educated as someone who might have had an obesity issue. And that her insensitivity is really just ignorance. Because it's exactly what it is, ignorance. And ignorance is bliss. And ever since she's seen happy. Because she's ignorant. And it's bliss. So, if you guys hung in there, thank you guys so much. I think this might be my longest video where it didn't fuck up. I'm pretty impressed. So, thanks for watching. Have a beautiful day. And I love you guys. And I hope to share more of my journey with you. Bye-bye.